Welcome to the 15th episode of the Art Diner podcast. Let's grab a coffee and chat about the recent happenings in the art industry. Today, we want to talk a bit about Rita's experience at London MCM and ComicConBaltics while tabling at the Artist Alley. And keep listening until the end to join us in a discussion about art schools teaching things they shouldn't. So how are you, Rita? You must be super tired tabling for 2 conventions, one after the other.
You know, I thought I'll be absolutely dead because after the commie in spring, I was just burnt out to the bone. It was just ashes of me scattering in the wind. This time, I actually feel fine. If you would tell me I have another convention like in a week, I wouldn't mind. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
So crowd-wise, was there more or less people than you expected in these events?
Well, first of all, ComicConBaltics this year had a bigger artist alley than ever. There were like 75 artists.
Oh, wow. Okay.
MCM, I have no idea because never counted, but I would say it's up to 500. I don't think it's more than 500. I would say there were a lot of people, but it's really hard to tell. I need to check the numbers because usually they post the numbers of attendance.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they love to brag about it.
I guess for our sponsors, right?
Yeah, and for Artist Alley people as well. They're like, oh, we're expecting this and this amount of people, you know, just to attract us as well. ComicConBaltics, obviously, it's a smaller event compared to London MCM. London MCM is absolutely packed with people. When in ComicConBaltics, you have some customers and then you sit down and you can chill for a while. At MCM, there were moments where we didn't sit down. Like, I don't mind this kind of thing. It was a great experience. It's always nice when people are buying your shit. The only issue was card readers. I'm gonna just start off with card reader gate because we have European card readers. We use SumUp, and I say we because at
French.
Yeah, so we. At ComicConBaltics, I was tabling alone, and MCM, I was sharing a table with a friend. Shout out to Devin.
Shout out.
I emailed SumUp about UK and they told me that the card reader is not going to work there basically because of Brexit. And we have everything prepped. We have our card readers prepped and suddenly we learned this news and we're like, what are we going to do?
When did you learn about it? How long before the event?
Maybe a month or so. Maybe less even. Maybe 3 weeks. I don't remember. Time doesn't exist at this point.
It's a construct.
So we used a program called Stripe. Stripe is better than PayPal because it's not as expensive. The fees are not as big. And you can add all your products there. It generates a QR code or a link for people to pay. You scan it with your phone and then you pay. So it's very convenient. It's really nice to use. But majority of people don't know about QR code payments. So every time people brought us a card, we would have to say the same line over and over again for like 100 times. I'm sorry, our card readers don't work here, but I'll generate a QR code for you to scan on your phone and it'll take you to a payment website. I'm very sorry for this inconvenience, blah, blah, blah. And on day 3, I hated this phrase.
Maybe you could have written it somewhere.
Probably, like, but you know, as you talk with people, it's all about, you know, conversation as well. And it's kind of more natural. Yeah. But then, here's the joke. Here's the kicker. After we pack up our bags at MCM last day, we're leaving and we meet this Bulgarian artist. She's really, really good. One of the saddest things is that I didn't have time to like go through the convention properly and meet people, but she came to us. That's why when we were going out, we sort of noticed her table and we're like, hey, and I noticed a SumUp reader and she's from Bulgaria. And she's like, yeah, it worked out absolutely fine.
No way, did it actually work?
We were like,
So it worked for her, so you could have also used it.
Yeah, I guess. Again, I can say that maybe since I had the Lithuanian SumUp and Devin had a German SumUp, maybe there would be issues with our specific SumUps. But would they, like, I don't know at this point. We didn't even take the card readers because we were so sure they won't work. So the moral of the story is just check. If you're going to an overseas country, just take your card reader just in case. Basically, the QR code worked absolutely fine. there were only a few people that couldn't pay. I could count them on my fingers. Maybe 3 people couldn't pay because their phones couldn't read QR codes because they were too old, or the internet connection was bad. That was like the number one issue, is like the internet connection being bad at a huge convention like that. But other than that, when people heard the words QR code, 50% would automatically be like, I'll search for cash. It was really funny.
How much do you think, comparing countries, because you did many conventions already, you did in Germany, in Latvia as well, additionally to these ones, comparing all of them, all of your experiences tabling, which payment method is more popular, cash or card?
So comparing all the conventions together, Latvia, I was never asked for a card reader, but last time I was there was probably 2020 maybe. Yeah, so maybe things have changed. So Germany, the Comic-Con I was last summer, 1/3 of payments were card payments, 2/3 were cash. Lithuania, half. Lithuania is 50-50. 50 was card payments, 50 was cash. And UK, 2/3 are card payments, and then 1/3 is cash. Yeah, I cannot emphasize this enough. You have to have some sort of a mobile card payment, digital payment way when you go to UK. People usually have PayPal, but when Stripe exists, I don't see why you can't use Stripe. I know to use things like Stripe, you need to maybe have a license to sell, but it's really easy to get to register for like a license to sell. You're not even opening a business. You're just registering as a person who can sell things, and that's it, you know, and you can get these kind of business account.
Another question I had for you is, you mentioned that you're going to kind of almost 2 conventions all at once, in my mind, because it was like 1 week apart?
Yeah.
So for me, like the biggest question was, what about like product quantities? Were you afraid that you were gonna sell out on the first convention and then not gonna have enough product quantities for the second convention? And the second part of the question would be, did you actually like sell out of products?
So the products I have is my own personal art, my Monster Girls,
Yay.
and our Flag Meets Death merch. It's important. It's very important actually, because ComicConBaltics happened before our Flag Meets Death season 2 finale, and MCM happened right after the finale. So this is important because if a show is popular, it's gonna drive sales no matter what, you know? So if you happen to be in a fandom or like into a TV show or an anime, whatever, that is popular right now, and you're gonna go to a con, make some merch. Okay. So when I was prepping for these conventions, like half of my merch is basically, like more than half is pirate merch. Going to ComicConBaltics, I knew that there won't be as many fans because the show is just not as popular.
Yeah. To be fair, I didn't know about it until you told me about it.
I told all my friends about it. After season 2, I'm upset, very upset, and I'm not gonna... Anyways, this show is dead to me. So at ComicConBaltics, I went in not expecting to sell out. Because again, my own merch I can print at home. Because it's like prints, I can always print more. I have paper, I have inks, everything is good. Our flag stuff, I also had keychains, pins, stuff, stickers, stuff that I printed outside of my house. So if I run out, I won't be able to have stuff for MCM. Part of the merch I ordered into UK to a friend's place just to make sure I have enough in the UK. Also, like a tip, if you have a friend in a country you're gonna table at, just send all the merch straight there. It'll save you luggage space. And luggage space is so important and it's so hard to manage when you want to bring as many things as possible. So thank God I did that. I sent like half of the keychains straight into UK. So I wasn't afraid, but I wasn't expecting as many pirate sales as I had at ComicConBaltics actually. I was pretty much the flag's representative. I didn't have anyone else to be a rival, really. I was just a monopoly. But bear in mind, I mostly draw Izzy Hands, like one character from the show. I'm not even drawing like the most popular 2 main characters, you know? But still, I had like 11 zines and they got sold out within a day.
In Lithuania? Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Pins, wooden pins, I sold quite a few, and prints. I was very happy to meet Lithuanian fans pirate fans, because last year there were like very few, and to sell as many things as I did. So after Lithuania, I still had merch left, but I had to reprint a lot. So since I print stuff at home, I'm not as worried about running out of certain things.
Yeah.
So if you have 2 conventions or more, better prep more than you need, because you can always sell online or at a future convention.
How do you think you would kind of calculate how much you would need at the very start?
I have no idea. Because when I went to MCM, I sold out of all my fan stuff. 99%. It was gone. I wish I brought more. One of the reasons I didn't bring more was because we were still figuring out how strict is MCM with fan art. Because there was a kind of a rumor, and in the past, when I visited it 10 years ago, fan art was there, but it was very kind of not like all over the place. But when I went to MCM this year, nobody cared. It's like fan art everywhere. And even though majority of my stuff probably was fan art, but I would have brought more fan art if I knew, because I was trying to play a bit safe, just in case.
I guess then you need to look at, that venues, when you said they announce how many people go there. So you probably look at that number.
You can't tell.
You can tell how many will buy, right? Yeah.
You can't, because it depends on the type. It depends. If I give you like numbers, I had, from things I remember, I had 29 zines this time for MCM. They sold out in 1.5 days. And I even made the prices higher this time. I sold a zine for like 18 pounds. They sold out. Awesome. And I was like, I wish I had more, but I brought as many as I could fit into my luggage.
Yeah, next year you have to get a second luggage as well.
Yeah, pins, my wooden pins that I had for the Easy Hands character. I had 50 each of each design. Sold out. One of them was more popular than the other. I was actually surprised. I thought that the other is going to be more popular, but it was the other way around.
It's always the case, isn't it? With everything that we do as artists, when we put it up, like even a simple stuff as like Instagram posts.
Yeah.
You think that, your favorite is always doing worse than some
it's so
random
strange one. Yeah. I have an artwork I really like, and it's doing very poorly everywhere on Instagram and also in sales, and I'm like, okay. But yeah, social media likes actually is a pretty good indicator of sales. I would say that, because I did the Vampire Izzy thing, and it wasn't like flying off the shelves, but I sold every print that I had.
So with prints, what would you say that approximately, what amount did you have?
Popular designs, I would say, have like 20 copies for a convention like MCM. Yeah. Because for ComicConBaltics, I didn't sell out of like anything, I don't think. Yeah, for a small con like ComicConBaltics, I have a very large variety of prints. You have to understand. Like, usually my stall is just over plastered with stuff. I have so much stuff. But for like a larger convention, do like a 20 each for sure, just in case. If you don't sell out, it's fine. You can just sell it later on or online. But at the same time, I saw these people who had more. They have the same merch, mostly like every convention they go. I kind of see their booths and they have the same thing. So obviously they have these huge stacks that they order. Also, they order from printing services. I print myself. So I can just print 10 copies or 20 copies.
Okay, interesting. I'll write it down.
Posters, A3 posters, like usually I do 10 each. And during conventions, the popular posters sell out, but the non-populars might not sell out. So I still have prints that didn't sell out, or prints that didn't sell at all, or I just sold one copy. Again, well, of the drawing I like. I like this drawing, but people just don't want to buy it. Okay.
So overall, how would you rate your experience in both of these cons?
Both were very positive experiences for me. ComicConBaltics is smaller, it's more chill. You actually can go around, talk to people, and also the organizers this year were very, very kind. We had assistants walking around asking if we have water, if we need anything. It was really nice. We were treated like like royalty. I mean, offering water is not like royalty treatment, but we felt like it after certain conventions, you know, when you're treated like trash. Our friends, you know, from Latvia who go to ComicConBaltics, they were like, this is really nice. This was really nice. We had a whole separate area to ourselves that was not next to a stage. There was music playing, but it was like very sort of not loud music, basically. I'm so used to being in these smaller cons, the artist alley is next to a stage and you have like this music playing all day long and you usually get headaches afterwards. Here it's like we have our own separate little area. There's some music playing, but it's like super chill and nice. This year ComicConBaltics was the best they ever were. Like they were always fine to me, you know, but this year I think they really upped their game. So this is a convention basically I could recommend to people from abroad. People, I would be like, hey, I know it seems like a small convention, but you'll just have a generally nice experience and you will earn some money. MCM is huge, and when it comes to fan art, if you hit the right show at the right time, you'll be making bank. Also, for me personally, MCM was obviously I'm just talking about sales, but it's also more than sales for me because after the finale, I got to meet with all the fans and and also friends, and we could all talk about it. It was a very mutual, emotional experience. So MCM for me felt more personal in a sense, because there was like a lot of emotions involved. Sales wise, it was great. My best con so far ever. Like I couldn't believe how well it went. I didn't expect that at all, because I'm usually like, yeah, this is the amount I might earn. I was like, okay, I can't wait to earn more than this amount, and suddenly I earned like a lot more than I expected. Again, I don't want to jinx it, but
it's still super cool that if this ends up not repeating again, you know, maybe it is because of the season finale of the show, maybe not, but it's still super cool that, you know, you enjoyed the whole experience in general. Like it was good for business, it was good for personal experience as well. So I feel like it's just something that you can like put into your memory box and like remember it as a nice event in your life. So that's nice overall.
For sure. The worst thing is when you sit and do nothing at these events. You know, when you're have a shop and no one is buying or just a few people are buying, but have this experience of like a ton of people. You have like a queue of people and you have to manage the whole queue. Like, yeah, it's stressful, but I like this kind of stress because it's like, it's exciting. You just kind of, you go. And I think that's what I like about, you know, being at conventions is not only the taste of money, obviously. It's nice when people buy your stuff, but it's also people are buying your stuff. People love your art. You get to talk to your fans. You get to talk to other artists. You get to cheer each other on. The artistic community in general are so friendly and nice. I'm not throwing shade at cosplayers, but like the things I've heard about cosplay community. But the artistic community usually is, of course, we have our own dramas, but at conventions, people are like cheering each other on. They're like buying from each other, and they're like, "Yeah, I hope you sell out." You know, everyone is like, "I hope you sell out." So it was really nice.
Moving on to the next topic. Recently, I started streaming on Twitch again. Maybe you've seen. I am having a lot of fun there, drawing stuff for Instagram usually and just chatting with people. And during one of the recent streams, someone in the chat started a conversation about art schools beginning to teach AI image generation as a subject. I was really surprised this is even a thing. I don't know why this thought didn't come to my mind ever, not even for a second. And so I got sent a Twitter post by Alexa Barco, which is like a screen cap of an email from their university, which here I will read it. Hello, entertainment design crew. You may have noticed that we have a lot going on this term. I hope you're all able to enjoy all the cool opportunities. Our next jam is the AI Jam on the weekend of October 20th. Everyone is welcome to participate, and the goal is simple. Create something cool using AI tools based on a prompt that will be revealed on Friday. In the spirit of Halloween, the prompt will be Halloween based. What do you think about this, Rita?
It hurts me. It just hurt. Like at this point, you know, when there's an avalanche happening, you know, or like a huge storm, and you see your house being like carried by the stream, and it's like you can't stop it. Like there's nothing you can do. All you feel pain, and you just see the house float away.
What more equivalent that would be is something like you see your house being raided by these people who are just bashing in the windows and everything, and the police cannot really help because they're just unable to help at this scope because this huge crowd of people are just, you know, smashing the windows.
It's like the movie Purge, you know, once a year police is like, sorry, it's the purge, sorry, we cannot do anything.
So I feel like because when you say that it's something like a storm, which is something that, you know, is caused by nature and it's only natural that it happens and occurs, and yeah, you cannot do anything about it, just deal with it. I feel like this is very much human inflicted to ourselves. So because AI was, you know, developed by people, it is now used by people. Thankfully, not everyone. I feel like it's something more related to people rather than something that's unavoidable or something like that. It's more self-inflicting.
You know, sometimes at work, my boss will generate something with AI just as reference for me. And he's always like, yeah, I'm just playing around. And he's talking about all the limitations AI has. And every time he talks about AI, like I just sit there and I'm just dead inside. Like I'm half listening at this point because it's like he can tell me all he wants about how limited it is, about how, you know, it's not as good. We will always need blah, blah. But you don't understand. This is AI at its worst that we have right now, you know? It's only gonna get better. So when you see things like schools implementing it bit by bit, you know, into their courses and stuff, people can say, oh, it's just a little bit. It's just, you know, this and that. It's not just these things. It's the way that these things are normalized. Bit by bit, it's being normalized.
Yeah. You can normalize really radical and insane things.
Yeah.
Bit by bit. And, you know, history proves us. I was also searching online for courses that were primarily AI generation stuff, but so far, like, nothing actually came up. So I don't know if it's just, you know, colleges that don't write about it online, but people in the chat were mentioning it wasn't like a surprise to them and they had heard this before. I don't remember if they said that any of their universities was implementing that yet or no, but I think it's just a matter of time for some of them. I did read like some of the professors were in articles, they were talking about how this is very damaging and they do have rules with their students that they're not supposed to, you know, even for idea generation, they're not supposed to even use it because it's the copyright issues with data scraping and all of that. But I did also find some weird views from professor interviews regarding the subject. Like one school during their admission period asks applicants to identify their AI created works in their portfolio. And here's a quote from one of the professors. We posed the question, how did you use AI in your portfolio? Not to ask students to turn themselves in for cheating, but to brag about the techniques they figured out. He says, we're excited about AI too. We want to be co-conspirators with them. And I thought that's such a scary thing to like read and such a scary thing to even say. I don't know. I was so surprised by this quote.
It's yikes. That's what I mean by just sadness and that this grieving inside of the world that used to be, in a sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of weird courses, do you remember back in the past when they had social media courses? Social media courses started popping up, how to be like an influencer, growing your online presence. And back in the day, it felt like a novelty course. It felt like that's such a stupid course. Like, what would you say at a course like that? But then a few years later, you're like, oh, actually, it's everything right now. You know, it's so prominent. It's so important, you know, for growing your business these days. So I don't know what AI is going to turn into. I think that there will be always a movement. There will always be part of people who will care about human-made things and humans in general. But if our economical system is not going to change, and there will always be people who just want to consume without really giving a shit who made it, basically, you know? There will be more and more things that will be created really fast and catered directly to people because like of all the data stealing and because of the fast generation of like videos and images. I was watching a TED Talk or a video about this, how they will be able to generate like very specific media for every person. Everything will become super specialized depending on your needs, I guess. I have no idea. Like at this point, there is no excitement from me about AI, just this kind of grief. I'm already grieving things that are gonna be lost.
If any of our listeners would be interested, Alan Turing Institute has AI and Arts interest group that you can sign up to join for relevant meeting notifications and paper calls, events, funding opportunities, and even job openings. So it's time to become a prompter.
Did they get you as well? Oh my god, they got you. How much did they pay you?
It's insane how like this is a thing. I don't know, it's the interest group. Like if you rename it, right? The interest group for copyright infringement robot technology. It's like, how would you even be a part of this group? And what would even be the job offerings? Isn't there very little of them for them to just be able to find them, you know, on the websites?
Absolutely agree. Again, when you actually name it the way you just named it with its real name, it sounds less appealing than AI. AI sounds, you know, short and sexy and like future, whatever the future is now. Well, my only thought is that at this point, AI cannot reproduce styles over and over again. Like there is inconsistency. Like you can get a pretty picture once, but people are having a super hard time reproducing it again. Like the same kind of result with a different topic again. Like how unpredictable AI. I know it's gonna improve eventually, but same with like self-driving cars. Self-driving cars have been a thing for years. Like people were trying to get them out on the streets for years now, and every year Elon Musk is like, oh, this year is the year that they're gonna come out. Not that he talks with this accent, but like, and they never do because there are some issues that cannot be fixed at the moment. So same with AI. I really hope that it's gonna be at some point, it's gonna reach a point where it's like, oh, there are certain issues that we cannot overcome, and it's gonna stay this way for like 100 years or 1,000 or 1,000,000.
Any of you guys have an opinion, please write in the comments. There have been some opinions on AI art in the comments before, and I love to read them no matter what's the opinion, whether I agree with it or not. It's just interesting to like discuss because, you know, that's pretty much all we can do at this stage. It's not like I single-handedly going to change the future. But yeah, that wraps up our episode for this week. And guys, if you have any topic suggestions or ideas, please share in the comments below. Drop a like on the video since it helps us reach more listeners. Thank you for sticking out until the end, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.